Hi friends, Adam Kirtley here, Chaplain of Whitman. I hope this message finds you well. A few years ago, my wife and I were traveling and listening to some music together in the car. My wife, Jen, if you don't know, is the swim coach here at Whitman. She's significantly more hip than I am, especially when it comes to music. I tend to be more of a folk and bluegrass person, and she credits the time that she gets to spend with the swim team and being around 30 to 40 18 to 22 year olds has helped her stay up on the contemporary music scene much more than I have been able to. And we were listening to a song, and it was one that she recognized, and it had this really long, sort of intense build and crescendo, and then there was a brief pause, and then the bass kicked in, and there was an entirely new sort of almost a cathartic musical moment after the build up. And Jen said, "I love that drop," and I said, "What are you talking about?" I must have been the only person who did not know the term drop in that context. I've looked up a definition for you in case you also are as unhip as I was in that moment. A drop is the moment in a dance track when tension is released and the beat kicks in. Great drops create overbearing drama. They're built for the unabashed and uninhibited, releasing the enormous energy accrued during a song's progression. Releasing the enormous energy accrued during a song's progression. I kind of wonder if what's essential to the drop is not just the build up and then that sort of musical release, but there's that pause that happens for a brief moment right before the drop, and I sort of feel like that could be analogous to where we are as a nation right now. We may be in that pause. I think following this contentious and difficult election cycle, it's important that we as a country catch our collective breaths before we step into what will inevitably be a new way of being, a new way of governing, a new way of relating to each other as citizens in this country. One of the things that I was listening to in the wake of the election coverage was a pundit said, if the Democrats don't secure the Senate, then the Biden presidency is going to be so weak that there may be little more that he can do than unifying rhetoric. And while I think we all agree, we hope that we're able to establish a government that does a lot of good things for a lot of good people, that the reality is that unifying rhetoric ought not be overlooked or dismissed as something that we need as a country. I put myself in the camp in believing that good people can have divergent opinions when it comes to political matters. I think that smart people can disagree on lots of issues, and maybe in this moment before the drop, while we are rolling up our sleeves, catching our breath, and finding our footing, would be a good time for us to think about how to live into the world with grace and compassion, perhaps especially for those with whom you may disagree politically. Might we be able to build some building blocks for some level of connection and function when this brief pause is over? Those are my thoughts and reflection this week. I hope you all are well. I hope you take care of yourselves and each other, and I look forward to seeing you around soon.